As the first rays of the sun appeared in the sky, golden light scattered across the earth. The quiet air was filled with the faint chirping of birds, and the gentle wind gently swayed the grains of sand. In this peaceful atmosphere, an old pot was placed on the edge. Fine sand was poured into the pot, which had the ability to retain the heat of the day. The fire was slowly lit, and the sand was left to heat up. It was a desert oven, simple but amazing. A few medium-sized potatoes were buried in the sand, covered with more sand. As they hid in the sand, a familiar silence filled the air, as if time had stopped. Meanwhile, the preparation of the dough began. Flour, salt, and water were mixed in a deep wooden bowl. The dough was kneaded with the firmness and gentleness of the hands until it took the shape of a soft ball. This dough was a promise of strength, energy, and flavor in the moments to come. The sound of camel footsteps could be heard from afar. The soft voice of a small child enlivened the atmosphere even more. The scene was so peaceful that it felt as if the universe had hidden all its secrets in that very moment. Some time passed and the potatoes were ready. The potatoes buried in the sand were carefully taken out. Their faint fragrance spread through the air, casting a strange magic. The peel was removed and placed on a board. It was sliced thinly with a thick knife. Now it was time to prepare the filling. Fresh green leaves were added to the sliced potatoes, whose fragrance made the atmosphere even more fragrant. A small piece of butter was added, the melting of which made the taste of the potatoes even softer. Turmeric and cumin were added, and everything was kneaded well with hands. Thus a fragrant, colorful filling was prepared, the sight of which aroused hunger. The dough ball was rolled out. The filling was placed in the center, and the edges were sealed tightly. Then it was gently rolled out with a rolling pin until a round and thick loaf was formed. The bread was baked in a frying pan on the stove. As soon as the bread first touched the surface of the frying pan, a faint aroma began to rise. Gradually, the bread began to turn golden and crispy on the outside, while the inside was soft and full of butter and flavor. Meanwhile, the sand pot was lifted, and a small tea kettle was placed in it. Sand was poured around the kettle so that it was completely covered. Water, tea leaves, and sugar were added, and the kettle was left on the stove. This sand now acted as a natural oven for the tea. After a few moments, the faint aroma of tea permeated the air. When everything was ready, the bread was placed on a round piece of wood. Another piece of butter was placed on top, which melted as it hit the hot surface. Its soft crackling created music in the silent air. The bread was cut into 4 pieces, and each piece seemed a masterpiece in its simplicity. The tea kettle was steaming. It was poured into a wooden bowl. The sharp and pungent taste filled the entire atmosphere with its aroma. Now came the moment for which all this preparation had been made. A piece of bread was lifted, the butter glistening on it, the aroma of the filling wafting through the air. A sip of tea was taken. A wave of taste, aroma, and peace reached the heart. The silence of the desert, the heat of the sand, the blowing wind, and the shady presence of the palm trees all combined to create a scene that reminded me of the true beauty of life. The feeling was deep and true that true splendor lies not in a magnificent palace, but in this simple life, where food is made by the labor of the hands and the light and fragrance of nature make it perfect. That moment was like a golden page in the book of time. The warmth of the tea and the softness of the bread gave strength to the body and peace to the heart. Thus, this desert breakfast was not just a means of filling the stomach, but became a memorable experience in which the combination of nature and hard work was hidden. Please like, share, subscribe.